The first 4 weeks of the Pitt football season have been a roller coaster ride.
With 5 seconds, he's going to throw it. Howard leads. He has it.
After a second straight defeat, the Panthers will look to bounce back tonight against the Marshall Thundering Herd. Our ACC football doubleheader continues next. It is game day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. James Conner and the Pitt Panthers looking to get back on the winning track as they play under the bright lights of Heinz Field. And their opponent tonight, the Marshall Thundering Herd. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to ACC football. Bob Rathman here in Pittsburgh. This Panther football team is looking to recapture that winning feeling. 3 weeks ago here, a glorious victory over Penn State. But in the subsequent 2 weeks, bitter losses at Oklahoma State and at North Carolina, and both inside the final minute. So Pat Narduzzi looking for his Panthers to rise up and stop this 2-game losing streak. My partner tonight is Takeo Spikes, and one thing in Pitt's favor, they've got 2 major league home run hitters in that starting lineup.
Hey, James Conner, ladies and gentlemen, he is back from an MCL injury from a year ago, and most importantly, he defeated cancer. When you see this guy's stat line, he is very productive. But when we met with him yesterday, he was quick to say, I am not back to my normal self. Yes, I am feeling good. I am healthy, but there's certain things that I need to work on. Quadre Henderson, he came into this game leading the nation in all-purpose yards. Watch out for him when he gets the ball tonight on the offensive side. It is predicated off of him making one guy miss.
And our hearty star to watch for Marshall is their starting quarterback. And we'll get to him in a second. Here is Juan Price, the outstanding defensive end for the Panthers.
Hey, Coach Narduzzi said it. Juan Price may be the best defensive end pass rusher that I've ever coached. When I look at him play, he reminds me of the Tasmanian Devil.
And here's Chase Litton back in the lineup this week.
Hey, very important that Marshall gets his guys back. He is the leader of their offense. Even though they won 10 games last year up under his leadership, he said, I wasn't brought here to win 10 games. I was brought here to win championships.
Let's go down to the field and welcome in the third member of our crew. Here's Rebecca Capel.
Thanks, Bob. Well, Pitt secondary has been picked apart the last 2 weeks. And Coach Pat Narduzzi says it really all comes down to techniques and fundamentals and trusting in those things. And he says as coaches, they can really help the secondaries play by simplifying what they do. Tonight, look for number 14, Avonte Maddox, to lead the pass coverage. Probably Pitt's best corner. He and senior Ryan Lewis have the most experience at that position. But tonight, also look for Pitt to insert, maybe even shift around some guys to see if they can improve what has been the weakest part of their games.
It's very important if Pitt is going to get off on a great start from the defensive side of the football. Juan Price, yeah, he's a guy that needs to step up, but the defensive secondary needs to step up. They have given up over 1,000 yards in the past 2 weeks, so it's vitally important these guys make plays.
We mentioned Pitt losing their last 2 ball games. Same is true for Marshall as they come in representing Conference USA. This is a football team and a program that is used to winning, and they have done a lot of that under Doc Holliday these last 7 years.
Doc Holliday has done a great job of coming in, installing in their mind, this is what a winner is supposed to look like. He's very detailed, and he takes pride in doing the little things right.
Pitt will receive the opening kickoff. Amaretto Curry is the man who'll be doing the kicking off for the Thundering Herd. And there's the feared return man, Quadre Henderson, averaging 37 yards per kick return. That leads the ACC. Angled toward the sideline, Henderson from the 5. And they will go with a reverse. And trying to wiggle free to the outside is Avonte Maddox, and he goes out of bounds. The quarterback of the Pitt Panthers is this man, 5th-year senior Nate Peterman.
Nate Peterman has a lot of great qualities when you come in as a quarterback. He understands that this offense is simple, but it's complex for him. They run a jet sweep play. He's the only guy who knows where the ball is going. Therefore, the other 10 guys, they have to do their assignment well because they do not know where the ball is going.
So Pitt's first drive from the 25-yard line, and Peterman going up top early and incomplete at midfield. Defending was Rodney Allen, and tight coverage right over the middle.
Pitt came out. They wanted to do some trickery, but it was a nice job by Rodney Allen being able to go in, and he played the pocket of the hands. That's one of the things that the great DBs does well. They just played the pocket of the hands to break the ball up.
Now 2nd and 10. A lot of motion. You'll see that all night long from the Panthers. Let's take a look at our Toyota impact players tonight. Offensively for Pitt, they have that great running game. You can't have that without great offensive line.
Hey, when you're averaging over 200 and close to 50 yards a game rushing the ball, their offensive line, senior Dorian Johnson and Adam Bisnawadi, these guys are the heart and soul that makes this running game work well.
So 3rd and 4 for Pitt on their initial drive of the night. Peterman will throw, and it's complete. Making a big grab. 1st and 10 Pitt, a 35-yard gain.
Matt Kennedy is coming out, and they talked about, we want to keep it simple coming into this game. We want to finish a simple little slant route, pitch and catch, and it turned into a big yardage game.
1st and 10 at the Marshall 34-yard line. Connor, his first carry, takes it to the 33-yard line. There's Marshall defensive unit. Our Toyota impact players for the Thundering Herd.
Devontae Tyler, he's a guy that came in the offseason and worked with their defensive coordinator, Chuck, and he talked about, show me the little details of the game. How can I think before the play is snapped? Gary Thompson does a great job at the defensive end spot, setting the edge. So look forward to him not allowing that jet sweep to come to his side.
So Doc Holliday, the head coach. Henderson bobbles, controls, turns the corner, and spins out of bounds at the 26.
We just talked about Gary Thompson being an impact player. And as you see, he was cut down on the side. Quadre Henderson, an amazing talent. They like to get him the ball, running the little jet sweep on both sides. Anytime they can get the motion set, they can outflank the defense to a certain side.
3rd and 2. Pitt sticks it on the ground to get the first down this time. And James Conner getting it done. Gary Thompson credited with the tackle.
They're running behind the big side of the offensive line. You see Adam Bisnawadi, Dorian Johnson. They understand it's a short yardage play. And with that, they got to get movement because Connor is big enough to fall forward for a yard if he has to.
1st and 10 at the 22. Pitt taking the opening kickoff. This is the 7th play of the drive. Peterman throws it complete to Henderson at the 5. 1st and goal for the Panthers. But one thing that we're seeing is all that misdirection, and it will really create havoc defensively for Marshall.
Well, their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, he talked about, I'd like to move certain guys to cause misconfusion on the defensive side. If we move 2 guys, if they move 5, we've done our job. And that's an exact reflection of what you just saw, a pass play coming across the middle, because linebackers, they don't know what to read. They're looking at the running back, they're looking at the receivers.
Turning the corner, touchdown, Aston. They dial up the fullback, and George Aston delivers, and Pitt marches right down the field to put 6 on the board.
You talk about a new wrinkle. This is a new wrinkle in their offense. George Aston, the fullback, he scores a rushing touchdown.
Chris Blewett, perfect this year on PATs, 19 for 19. And this one is no good. So his first miss. But on the misdirection, Aston the handoff, and he knew just what to do. 6-0 Pitt. ACC football is brought to you by Ford, by CPI Security, and by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. It will be forever known as the Steel City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. U.S. Steel headquartered here back in 1901. It's still here in Pittsburgh. A 6-0 lead for the Panthers. The man who scored the touchdown, Mr. Aston, on special teams. The kick comes to the 2-yard line, and Willie Johnson breaks a tackle and out to about the 33-yard line. Takeo, let's go back to that last Pitt score.
Now, on this last touchdown play, you look at George Aston, the fullback. This is very different. This is what you call self-scouting, because most of the time, this is Quadre Henderson. And you know, as a Marshall defensive player, they're used to seeing Quadre come across with the ball. Great self-scouting by their offensive coordinator.
So Marshall has it first and 10, and their quarterback is Chase Litton, and he completes his first pass and gains a couple of yards. Our Toyota Impact players for the Thundering Herd. Tight end Ryan Juracek is a big playmaker, and Michael Clark at 6'7" is a mighty big target.
Ryan Juracek, he's going to be the security blanket. Big time player.
2nd and 7. And another toss to the outside to Josh Knight. And Marshall keeping it in the air. First down, Thundering Herd.
Marshall is coming out, and it seems their MO is to be able to take what they are giving me. Josh Knight usually plays the slot receiver, just did a simple little out route, and he was able to come down with the catch.
Little bubble screen to the near side, and Josh Knight gets it over the 45 to the 46. Our Toyota Impact players on the defensive side of the ball for Pitt. That is a big man at the nose.
Tyreek Jarrett. He's a guy who's not going to get his name in the paper a lot, but he is the reason why these guys are top 10 in the nation. And when you look at Jordan Whitehead, a strong safety who comes in the box, plays like a linebacker.
Tyreek 6'3", 335. Near side and complete. And Deontay McManus takes it over midfield.
Their offensive coordinator, Bill Legg, he's coming out. He wants to get his wide receivers involved. 2 bubble screens, a simple out route earlier by Josh Knight. It seems to me that he's setting up this Pitt defensive, trying to lull them asleep and maybe go up top for a deep play.
Chase Litton 4 for 4 to start his night. The first handoff goes to Tony Pittman, who was elevated to starter this week. And this one will be marked at about the 47-yard line. And I don't believe they made the first down. Pittman, a redshirt junior at 5'10", 212. Had 54 yards last week in that Louisville game. They did not make the first down. So Marshall will punt. Henderson is back deep, and the punter is Corey Vedvik. This is the young man from Norway. At 6'4", Corey averaging 41 yards per punt. Henderson will make the fair catch at the 16. And we'll step aside. 8:25 to go, opening quarter from Pittsburgh. 6-0 Pitt. Pitt leading Marshall 6-0 with 8:25 to go in the first quarter. It's time for our Ford keys to the game.
Well, it's easy with Marshall. They understand coming into this game, they must attack the corners, understanding that Pitt's defensive secondary has given up close to 1,000 yards and pass receiving yards over the past 2 weeks. And then for Pittsburgh, they have to finish football games in order to get the win. Critical plays at critical times. If it comes down to that tonight, the DBs must make big plays at critical times.
Pat Narduzzi's ball club has been fantastic running the ball. Almost 250 yards per game. It's third in the ACC and 14th in the NCAA. And the crazy stat for a ball club that's lost 2 in a row, they are dominating in time of possession. Second drive of the night for the Panthers. And it's going to be Connor on the right side with daylight in the first down. We had a chance yesterday, Takeo, to meet and spend some time with this young man. What a remarkable running back and what a remarkable human being.
If you think he's a great running back, he's even better of a person. His resiliency, knowing that he came back from cancer, but taking time to treat people the way that he would want to be treated, and it's infectious.
4 carries so far and 23 yards. Peterman back to pass, throws, and it's complete. He's got Weah over the 50 and down to the 47-yard line. Chester Weah, the redshirt junior, on a 23-yard pickup.
They have a very nice combo, play action pass. Chester Weah, the defensive back is giving him a lot of cushion on the back end, and when you have that amount of cushion as a receiver, it makes it easy to run your routes. It's almost as if you're running your routes against air, 7-on-7, something you do in practice.
Peterman inside toss. And Jamar Parrish to the 40-yard line.
I like what Pitt is doing on the offensive side. A lot of things that are unconventional. You see that play. It was a shovel pass, but it was a shovel pass to Jamar Parrish, the tight end. And that's a play that they ran last week in the red zone on the goal line. And those type of plays usually work for a touchdown.
Connor has 23 yards rushing tonight, and that puts him over 3,000 for his career. He becomes the 5th Pitt running back in history going over 3,000. Henderson brings it off to the left side, and he's out of bounds at the 38-yard line. You mentioned how tough it is on linebackers with all this movement. Why?
One thing you can guarantee for certain, Quadre Henderson, when you see him coming in motion, it should raise your antennas as a defensive end. Gary Thompson or Ryan B., the defensive end for Marshall, knowing that, hey, something is coming my way. And there got to be something that's self-scouted from your coaches telling your players that.
Officially out at the 38 for the 1st and 10. Henderson again. What a cutback. One more move and pulled down from behind. Inside the 5-yard line. 34-yard gain, 1st and goal.
We talked about the jet sweep play, and this offense, I said early in the game, is predicated off of Quadre making one guy miss. And when he makes one guy miss, beware of a big chunk yardage game. That almost turned into a touchdown.
This is a wide receiver, and he is the 2nd leading rusher on the ball club. He's carried it 3 times tonight. Connor stopped at the 1.
24, James Connor.
Ryan B. made the tackle. Marshall's 6'7" defensive end.
Brian B. did a great job of just holding contained, but being able to lock out the tackle with his arm and then shed the block and come off and make the play in the inside. Nice job.
Checking the numbers. CPI red zone. CPI security shows Pitt 16 for 18 with touchdowns, and they add to that total as James Conner takes it in. His 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
It's hard to stop James Conner in a 2 to 3 yard gain situation just because of how big he is. 6'2", 235 pounds. But they did something a little different. They're getting a lot of mileage off of the right side of the line. Alex Officer, their center, Alex Bookster, and also Brian O'Neill.
Blewett ready for the extra point. Trying to redeem himself, and does. The kick is good with 5:03 to go in the opening period. 2 drives, 2 scores. James Conner makes it 13-0 Panthers. It is 13-0 Pittsburgh leading Marshall. 5:03 to go in the first quarter, but cause for concern. You're looking at Quadri Henderson. Remember when he made that big run? He was tackled from behind to kill. Let's see what happened here.
It looks like a pretty routine tackle. But of course he's banged up a little bit. Hopefully he will be okay. Now, if for whatever reason, if he can't come back, the impact will be tremendous in what they do offensively, especially with the jet sweep that we've seen these guys get a lot of mileage off of.
Willie Johnson brings the kick return to the 21-yard line.
Johnson on the return.
There's Henderson. He is such a do-it-all guy and such an inspirational player. He's not the biggest guy that's ever come down the pike, but what a dynamo.
Electricity when he gets the ball in his hands. He energizes everybody. Big integral part to what they do from the offensive side. Also special teams.
Litton. He's been hot early. Dialing it up down the sideline, and that is caught. Down to the 35-yard line. 6'7", Michael Clark going one-on-one.
Bob, you said it. Get used to seeing these guys make this type of connection. They played high school basketball together. A great story. Chase Litton just stayed in the pocket, and he saw the one-on-one coverage on the outside. And when you have a receiver that's 6'7", you can do that.
1st and 10 at the Pitt 35-yard line. Anthony Anderson is stopped after a yard gain. Down to the field, and Rebecca.
Well, Bob, look for that connection a lot tonight. He has started every game this season, but the last time Michael Clark actually played in a real football game before this year was when he was a freshman in high school. Like you said, he's a 6'7" athlete, but he was more of a basketball player. He and QB Chase Litton used to play AAU hoops together down in Tampa, Florida, and Litton sort of recruited him to Marshall, been pushing him along the way. Offensive coordinator Bill Legg says Clark has improved dramatically.
Tight end Ryan Juracek makes the grab on that one. And Marshall, as the last 2 Pitt opponents have proven, you can get big chunks in the air against this Pitt Panther defense.
Chase Litton understands that they are very suspect on the backside. When you look at the defensive backfield of Pitt, that's the reason why he's going down the football field with the ball this drive.
And Chase Litton is 6 for 6. He goes down on this one. And there's your man, Juan Price.
The better known as the Tasmanian Devil. Coach Narduzzi said it. He may be the best pass rusher that I've ever coached. But you got to give a lot of credit to the coverage on the back end. Avonte Maddox at corner does a good job staying in front of his receiver. And when Chase didn't have anybody to throw to, it gives time to the defensive front, especially Juan Price, to come off the end, one of the captains of this defense.
That forces the Marshall punt on 4th and 12. Angling toward the sideline, and it is caught at the 4. So down to there, a 33-yard punt. And Pitt will set up at the 4-yard line. It really has been an up and down season for Pitt as they come to this game at 2 wins and 2 defeats. They opened it up with Villanova, and of course Connor's comeback was the big story in that game, his first game in his heroic return. Then it was Penn State, and you couldn't find a seat in Heinz Field for that one. They won that game 42-39. Then the heartbreak of defeat inside the last minute, first in Stillwater, then last week with just 2 seconds to go in Chapel Hill. Back-to-back frustrating losses for the Panthers. This isn't frustrating. This is Shantez Moss, and he takes it out on a huge game.
True freshman Shantez Moss looked as if he was shot out of a cannon right up the middle. Dorian Johnson, Alex Officer, great blocking by the offensive line. And when you look at the cutback lane, we talked about the motion. You see Devontre Tyler, the inside linebacker for Marshall. He had a bad read. And when you have a slow read, that's the perks and the advantages of what they do on Pitt's offense.
A 41-yard gain. Peterman up top for Weah. Chris Jackson, a true freshman and right corner, defending for Marshall.
I tell you what, they went for the home run on this ball. True freshman Chris Jackson did a nice job of just not even panicking. As you see, he knows the ball is coming. He got his head around late, but he didn't panic, which usually most DBs end up with a pass interference on those type of plays.
Moss is the lone setback. Nice cutback. And more daylight. First down, Pitt at the 34.
You see the guys, they're blocking down. And they do a great job of just getting everybody pursuing to one way. Shantez has great vision, the 1 foot in the ground, make the cut, get upfield. Nice game.
From the 34, Pitt first and 10.
The rushing yards, as you would expect, Pitt with a huge number. But how about Marshall? Of course, in college, you get the sack yardage. Now a timeout. And they're still looking at Henderson on that Pitt sideline. So Pitt uses its first timeout of the first half. Well, we knew coming in, we showed you that rushing number, that Pitt running the football, they're among the best in the country. We've seen that, but I've also been impressed with the poise of Nate Peterman throwing the football.
He's done a great job of throwing the football, but even before you get to him actually throwing the football, their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, he's done a very good job of just mixing up the plays. Plays that he used at the red zone last week, he's bringing those plays out in the middle of the field. And that's something that defensive coordinators, they never go over and talk about that type of stuff.
And the easy toss out to Aston. Did a good job to grab it. A late flag as he neared the stick for the first down. George, the featured back tonight.
George Aston is getting a lot of mileage tonight as a fullback. These are the positions that most people consider.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense, number 11. The penalty will be enforced. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
See it here at the end of the play. Right there.
Yeah, he caught him with the face mask underneath. People think fullbacks are extent. I guess George Aston is out to prove everybody wrong. He's making a believer out of us.
from Stevens City, Virginia, a redshirt sophomore. An 11-yard pickup on the pass, 12 yards on the penalty, and Pitt looking for more. Great spin move by French. Touchdown. The true freshman adds his name to the scoring ledger.
We talked about Quadre Henderson. This offense is set up to make one guy miss. They did it again.
Corey Neely tried to apply the tackle, ended up only slowing up French for an instant. Great move. Blewett adds the point, and Pitt stretches the lead out to 20-0.
We talked about this offense, and these type of plays, the jet plays, make that one guy miss. They will have two blockers out in front, but it's his job to make one guy miss. And if he can do that, it turns into positive yardage.
Maurice French out of New Brunswick, New Jersey, with his first career touchdown. A dominant first quarter here by the Pitt Panthers offensively. Set on the tee is senior Chris Blewett. Willie Johnson, number 3, the deep man for the Thundering Herd. And it will be a touchback. Hey, football fans, we're giving away a Honda generator each week for 5 weeks during the college football season. Get in on the action and go to foxsports.com/south/Honda for a chance to win a Honda generator to power your next tailgate. We talked about the domination here in the first quarter for Pitt. They have 242 yards of offense. And we've got 50 seconds left in the first quarter. If that continues, we're looking at a 1,000-yard game offensively. And you know that young man is happy. That first touchdown in his back pocket. Thundering Herd stick it on the ground to Tony Pittman.
And off to 23, Tony Pittman.
Now this Marshall Ball Club, Takeo, has been stunned.
It's important for them to understand we do not have to get it back all on one play. Don't panic. Let's do what we do best. Don't try to do anything else. Stay with the game plan and convert a first down.
2nd and 9. North Carolina had only 18 rushing yards last week against this Pitt D. Incomplete for Michael Clark. And it is hard to run against Pitt.
Now, Juan Price, he knows it's a passing formation set. He's a guy that can bend the corner and rush the passer as if he's a pro pass rusher. I really like the way that he plays.
3rd and 9. Marshall 0 for 2 on 3rd downs. Litton looking and throws incomplete at the 45-yard line. So once again, the Pitt defense forces a punt. They've given up a couple of big pass plays tonight, but for the most part, they have been very effective on defense. They've shut down the Marshall running game.
On the backside, when you look at their defensive backfield, Avonte Maddox, Brian Lewis, they have been doing a good job of not allowing too many big plays, not panicking. And if they continue at this rate, they'll have a lot of success and more opportunities to get interceptions.
Bedvick's punt. Maddox, it touched him and goes out of bounds. A penalty flag as there was contact. George Davis, number 42, commits the infraction, and he is being told about it in no uncertain terms.
That's fundamental one-on-one when you implement the kicking game on the first day.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 42. The penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Pitt. That is the end of the first quarter.
And on that note, the first quarter comes to an end. The Marshall Thundering Herd, the Pitt Panthers from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Coverage of ACC football continues in a moment. ACC football is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the ACC. Geico, New York Life, and by Bojangles. We talked about Pitt's running game tonight. Nobody better than that man. The Heisman Trophy winning Tony Dorsett at the last Pitt National Championship back in 1976. And speaking of running the football, a lot of guys taking part in the party.
A lot of guys. I'll tell you one guy who is surprising, Shantez Moss, as he's lined up now.
Little play action from Peterson. Sets up a deep ball. Incomplete. Looking for Jester Weah. Chris Jackson making another fine play. There's a flag back at the 41-yard line.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3. The penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Well, before he made that knockaway, the pass interference.
At the spot of the foul. First down.
Daniel Gautreaux is our referee tonight to Conference USA crew. To the 38-yard line. Marshall's third penalty for 42 yards. And this has been an ongoing problem for Doc Holliday's team. They have accumulated a ton of penalties in their first 3 games. And the give to Moss to the 33.
Pitt, they are very deep in their backfield. When you look at their running backs, James Conner, Shantez Moss, and he appears to be the guy who can put the foot in the ground, seize the hole, and get upfield and get positive yardage. Their offensive line is doing a nice job collectively across as a group.
Pitt doing this without Quadri Henderson, who left with an injury in the first quarter. Another handoff to the 30-yard line. And Moss does it again. Dozier jumped on his back. The true freshman averaging over 6 yards a carry coming into this game.
And Bob, I even tell you what, we haven't even seen Quadri Olison. He was the true freshman last year that came in when Connor was hurt with the MCL and had cancer. He had over 1,000 yards as a running back rushing the football. So these guys are deep.
It's what I like to call deep depth.
Yeah.
3rd and 3. Moss.
Moss on the carry.
Short of the line. It'll be 4th down. Jason Smith the tackle for the Herd.
99 Jason Smith on the tackle for Marshall. 4th down.
Marshall defensive unit, they did a real good job of playing on the other side. Tomel one, Naquan Harris. And it's important for them to understand, we just need to get one stop. One positive stop, 4th down.
Peterman will keep it. And he's got the first down at the 27-yard line.
Panthers first down.
Nate Peterman, steady hand at the helm.
Steady hand. And this offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, talked about He is the only one that knows where the ball is going when they run the misdirection, the motion. So he has to be mentally in tune to everything, all defensive sets and shifts.
The fifth-year senior from Jacksonville, Florida, comes under center on 1st and 10. Coming to the near side is Tipton. And Trey Tipton, whose role continues to expand here for Pitt, the redshirt freshman.
Quadre Henderson,
There's no foul on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
He's been in and out of the lineup since he's been banged up. But Trey Tipton is coming in, taking on that new role. And it seems to me their offensive system is so good. Not that they can just put anybody in that position, but they have quality depth at several positions.
2nd and 5. Tipton to the pylon and out of bounds at the 1-yard line. 21-yard gain.
Trey Tipton does a good job. He understands with this scheme, it's one guy you have to make miss, and that one guy is Kendall Gant. He set him up with the inside move, went back out to the outside.
And just a beautiful block by Scott Orndorff. Now the replay booth, I think, is going to take a look at this. There may be a touchdown coming.
The previous play is under review.
Yeah, they're going to take a look. Let's see what we can see.
The field is that the runner was out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Let's take a look. He may have gotten that foot through to break the play. And where was the ball, though? That's the
That's the key.
big key. All right, hard to tell from that angle. Did the ball make it in?
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be the referee watching this. This is a hard call.
Well, the ruling on the field was he was out at the 1, so they've got to get conclusive evidence to overturn. This is the best look we have. Corey Neely is the guy who wrapped him up and may have prevented a touchdown. Let's check the feet. Left foot's in. Right foot kicks the pylon but crossed the plane. I think the question is, where is the nose of the ball?
Depending on when the foot stepped out of bounds.
Well, Pitt's going to be in great shape either way. They're going to get the touchdown. They're going to have the ball at the 1-yard line. And a long night's getting a little bit longer for Doc Holliday.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1-yard line.
Well, the crowd doesn't like it.
Trey Tipton doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't.
That's my touchdown.
Let's go, Pitt! Let's go, Pitt!
First and goal at the 1.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line, and James Conner back in behind Peterman. The give is to Aston. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. How about this young man? 2nd touchdown of the night, and he's having a night. 26-20.
Holding. Offense, number 37. The penalty will be enforced 10 yards from the previous spot. 1st down.
Pitt's first penalty cost him 6.
We talked about Quadre Allison coming in. I thought he had enough to sustain the block, but the little grab in the end cost this team 10 yards.
Penalty backs him up to
No
the
touchdown.
1st and goal at the 11. Henderson back in the game, and he's in motion. Gets it. Finds his way to the 7. So that's a good sign for Pitt, and they're faithful to see this young man back on the field.
It's a great sign to have him back on the football field. Corey Neely from Marshall. He has been very active. He looks like a linebacker out there playing. How many tackles he's on.
And you would know.
I guess I would know.
What a linebacker looks like.
Yeah, he's cutting the grass without a lawnmower. That's how much grass he's cutting.
Peterman. Thrown down at the 5. Devontae Tyler with the tackle. 3rd and goal.
This was a nice play by Devontae Tyler. His defensive coordinator, Chuck, he talked about he came into the offseason and he wanted to know how to watch film versus letting film watch him. Understanding that I want to know tendencies. I want to know pre-snap reads, pre-snap judgments. And it looks to me that he understands it by the play he just made.
Pitt has called 9 straight running plays. Henderson comes across. Peterman. And he is stopped shy of the goal line.
Down inside the 1.
Rodney Allen thought that he may have ripped that ball out of there. It's hard to see.
Prior to the ball crossing the goal line, it'll be 4th down.
Trying to find his way to the end zone. And then the ball pops free, and it big old 6'6", 305 Adam Bisnavati, and you can't see through him. See if this gives us a look.
It looks like Rodney Allen took it out before he came down.
4 and goal.
Replay says no. It's 4th and goal. Manny Stocker has come in at quarterback. We've got a timeout in Pittsburgh. We are back in Pittsburgh, and you're looking at Nate Peterman. The ruling on the field was that it is 4th down, and Peterman was down. He did not lose the football. Watch also at the end of the play as Peterman will lose his helmet. So the first timeout, as we just left, that was for official review. Now Peterman has to leave the game, right? But you can buy him back in by using a timeout, and that's what Pitt is doing right now. So they've called their timeout. Peterman will stay in the game, and they'll run this 4th and goal. So far this season, Pitt is a perfect 4 for 4. And they have just been able to run it right down Marshall's throat. But it's 4th and goal. And Pitt comes up to the line. Peterman stacked up, and Marshall with a goal line stand. Penalty flag. Hold everything.
Peterman on the carry.
Peterman thinks he's got a score. Again, he loses his helmet. Boy, this is confusing.
Very.
The ruling on the field is that the runner's forward progress was stopped short of the goal line. The runner's down when his helmet came off. It'll be 1st down, Marshall.
So the Thundering Herd stop Pitt at the goal line. We'll take a break with 9:10 to go in the 2nd quarter. Pitt leading Marshall here in Pittsburgh. against the Pitt Panthers. And great to see the basketball rivalry renewed between Pitt and West Virginia. Football to follow in a few years, which is the way it ought to be. Litton cranks. That's a long throw across the field and complete. But did he get the first down? Deontay McManus, the man who made the catch, and it looks like he's a half a yard shy.
Deontay did a great job of just pushing the defensive back, making him respect his speed. Avonte Maddox is respecting his speed. Nice timing on the throw, but unfortunately for these guys, it wasn't enough for the first down.
16 Pitt on to punt. 10 Henderson back for Pitt.
Corey Vedvik is the punter. On fourth and just a half a yard. Henderson will take the fair catch at the 33.
Fair catch.
The Pitt Panthers got out of the gate in fine fashion. They won the opening coin toss, elected to get the football, and they went right to work. A 75-yard drive that consumed 8 plays. George Aston with a 5-yard touchdown run to make it 6-0. They missed the extra point. Quandre Henderson may have been injured at the tail end of this play, but after this big gainer, it set up Pitt's second touchdown. James Conner taking it right up the middle in a 1-yard run. That made it 13-0. Then the spin by Maurice French and into the end zone for his first career touchdown, and that's where we stand, 20-0 in favor of the Panthers. James Conner out to the 34-yard line. And talked about so much this season about this young man and what he means to this community for all that he's been through, and he's such a beacon of hope. Everywhere he goes, fans, families stricken with cancer looking to him like, if he can do it, there's hope for me too.
Such a personable person. Carries himself in high regard. That's the reason why so many people respect him.
Peterman throwing and a drop. Oh my goodness. James Conner right there.
I know Conner wished he had this play back. This is another new wrinkle. Their offense, they're coming out calling plays very aggressive, doing things that they haven't shown in previous weeks. And as a coaching staff, when you draw up these one-time plays, they got to work, and you want them to work, because when you come back to them, it makes it that much harder to have success on.
This is the first long third down that Pitt's had tonight. 3rd and 10. Plenty of time. And Henderson begging for a flag, but none coming. Chris Jackson defending.
That was 3, Chris Jackson.
Outstanding coverage by the true freshman.
Chris Jackson, he had to know they was coming after him, the true freshman in the secondary, but he has been playing a pretty good ball game.
He had a handful of jersey, that's for sure. This will be Pitt's first punt.
2.
Ryan Winslow is the punter. He's averaging 42 yards per punt this season. Plenty of hang time. Foster. And takes it out to the 34-yard line. A 39-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Western Pennsylvania, nightfall upon us at Heinz Field. Next week on ACC All Access, James Bates chats with the Rock of Syracuse's defense, middle linebacker Zaire Franklin, plus a preview of the big Florida State-Miami matchup. Next week on ACC All Access with Olivia Harlan. Check local listings for airtimes on your regional sports network. 6:06, second quarter. Marshall football. Have nowhere to go on that completed pass.
To number 15,
Avonte, he understands that when you mix up the coverages by him playing a press bail technique, he didn't bail out too early, and that allowed him to be able to come back and make a tackle for a loss on first down. Nice awareness by Avonte Maddox.
Raven Elsie was the receiver. And he got the handoff to Pittman. Just impossible to run tonight for Marshall against Pitt.
Yeah, and when you talk to the guys up front for Marshall, Michael Selby, Clint Van Horn, the strength of their offensive line, but their job, they're responsible for moving Tyreek Jarrett out. And Tyreek Jarrett, he's almost like a statue in the middle of that defensive line. That's the reason why they're so good on Pitt at stopping the run.
Marshall -2 rushing yards. To this near side, Michael Clark out to the 42, but not enough for a first down. Willie Johnson was the receiver, and he is injured. It will be 4th down and 3. Ryan Lewis was the man. Came back to make the tackle.
It looks as if they fell on his leg.
Looking at that leg as we take a timeout. We'll be right back. ECC football is brought to you by Wix Filters. Go to wixfilters.com to find a local distributor near you. Oh, it feels like football weather. First time since we started Labor Day weekend. Beautiful night here in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
as we await the 5th Marshall punt. You like it hot. You can play in a sauna. Fair catch at the 18 by Henderson.
I like it hot only when I'm not playing football. I love cold weather, and when it's cold as a player, you have more energy. You don't burn out as much. You're not inclined to pull muscles because of dehydration. That's the thing I loved about playing this game, because when it's cold, you can run all day and you don't get tired as fast.
You played in the league 15 years. You never got tired.
Yeah, I just didn't let you guys know I got tired, but I was tired.
Moss is the setback. Tipped it in motion. And straight ahead, Moss over the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Montez Moss has came in this game, and he's done a good job of just showing how explosive he is. Great vision. Once he sees the hole, his mind is made up that I'm going to get positive yardage. And as an offensive lineman, you love it, because you know the only thing you have to do is get movement for a second.
And another give. Marshall stacks this one up. Moss had nowhere to go as he ran into defensive end Ryan Pitt. I'm Rathman, Takeo Spikes, Rebecca Capel with you from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh.
Ryan B. and Chase Hancock, they had a party at the ball right there together. Purposely, they collapsed down. Defensive guys knowing that they got to make some type of play happen in order to get back into this football game.
3rd and 3 for the Panthers. And this one is going to be complete to Weah. And that's a first down for Pittsburgh. Weah's coming on. He's 2nd on the ball club in receiving yardage.
And Justin Weah, he does a good job of just playing body, playing as if he's the basketball player for this team, using his body. And this is the 2nd time he has had a catch to where he's pretty much boxing out the defender.
Pitt now over 300 yards for the night. Play action. Peterman wide open to his tight end. Orndorff is out of bounds at the Marshall 48-yard line. The senior, a 20-yard pickup.
Scott Orndorff, he just came across the middle, and I don't know whether or not if he had a nice shake move coming off the line, but I tell you what, he got great separation from Damian Dozier. And they use Damian Dozier as a defensive end on third down, so he's a player who's very athletic.
Over the middle. And a penalty flag. Again, Chris Jackson, hands outstretched. Woohoo, me. And he draws another flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3. The penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Well, Chris Jackson, he's been busy tonight, and he understands that holding goes on every play, but he's a firm believer in just can't get caught. Wish they caught him that time.
Hand in the cookie jar.
Get you every time.
Penalty moves the ball to the Marshall 33.
Marshall's 4th penalty, and they have all been major penalties. Second PI on Jackson, and the catch is made by Weah. Stumbling down to the 16-yard line. Desperately trying to keep his balance. First and 10 for Pitt. Moss picks up a yard. A minute and a half to go before halftime.
Even though Moss was tackled right there, but going back to the previous plays, Marshall, they are so afraid of this run game to where it's leaving open the passing lanes for the little slant route. Because most of the times when you see slant routes go that deep into the interior part of the defense, the safety is supposed to be there, but he's down in the box playing the run.
Pressure from the outside to the end zone. Touchdown! Trey Tipton.
That was a nice play design by their offense, Matt Canada. He knew they were going to be in man. So what did he do? He drew up a play that was a special man beater for the number 3 receiver in the inside. Trey Tipton is putting together a nice ball game, people.
Chris Blewett with the PAT out of the Winslow hold. And the kick is good.
Trey Tipton lined up in the inside. He understands the DB is playing him from inside out. Therefore, it leaves that much open area for Nathan Peterman to be able to throw to the back pylon. And basically, the DB is beat just by alignment. The only thing you need is your quarterback to throw a perfect ball into the corner of the end zone, which he did. Nathan Peterman does a great job. And most of the time, people label Nathan Peterman as a game manager. But you know what, guys? I think he's a little bit more than that. He's very cerebral. He understands that he understands when he can take chances. And as you saw there, he knew that was man coverage, and he found the weak spot, and he went and attacked it.
He joins his teammate French, scoring his first collegiate touchdown, a 7-play, 81-yard drive, 27-0 in favor of Pitt. And it will be returned by Davis. To the 17. Keon Davis bringing it out for Marshall as the Thundering Herd have all 3 of their first half timeouts. And 48 seconds to work with here at Heinz Field.
Marshall now, 48 seconds left in this quarter before halftime. Maybe they try to go deep and try to establish something real quick. But it's important for them. They have to understand going into this locker room, we have to hang our hat on something that works.
And it will be a run for Anderson. 250-pound redshirt sophomore. Over the 20 to the 22-yard line, second down and 5. 6 first-half drives for Pitt against Doc Holliday's defense. They scored 4 touchdowns, lost the ball on downs at the goal line, and they were forced to make only 1 punt as they lead at 27-0. Once again, it's Anderson spinning his way close to a first down. And it looks like he is right on the line at the 27. 7 seconds, 6. Marshall will not stop the clock, and the first half will be history. So the Pitt Panthers returning to Heinz Field and taking control of this game right from the opening kickoff. Now they have built a lead of 4 touchdowns, leading Marshall 27-0 as we go down to the field in Rebecca.
Coach, through the first quarter, your offense was on pace for a 1,000-yard game. What's working for you guys?
You know what, our offense done a great job. The O-line, we talked about pound, Pitt, pound. They did a great job at moving people up front and executing. Second quarter, really, we stopped ourselves with a holding call down on the goal line, and and James drops a pass. He's looking to score. Just got to look at it. We'll be okay.
On the other side of the ball, you got to be pretty pleased. How's your defense managed to keep Marshall off the board entirely? Yeah,
they really tried to get the ball out quickly, so we're not going to get much pressure on the quarterback. So we really played a lot of base coverage today and just tried to lock him down. They've done a pretty good job.
Thanks, Coach. Bob?
Solid on both sides of the ball. The Pitt Panthers leading Marshall by a score of 27-0 here at halftime. We'll continue with more coverage of ACC football from Pittsburgh in just a moment. ACC football is brought to you by Hardee's, the official biscuit of today's presentation of ACC football. A 27-0 Pitt lead over Marshall as we begin the third quarter. But first, let's hear from Marshall head coach Doc Holliday down on the field with Rebecca Capel.
Coach, your team down 27-0 at halftime here. How do you get your offense to start clicking out there?
Well, we just got to start making plays. We got to make it 1 first down at a time, and we got to go in there and we got to block them a little better. And on defense, we got to tackle a little better and get off the field. Right now, we're not doing anything very well, so we got to go back second half here and try to play better.
Your defense had that one big goal line stop. How do you get them to make some more plays like that?
Well, we just got to make a lot more of them like that. We're not making near enough.
Thanks, Coach.
As we mentioned earlier, this Marshall outfit is used to winning. Doc Holliday's clubs have won 10, 13, and 10 games over the last 3 seasons. So the performance like this, and they've beaten some big boys along the way, Purdue, Maryland, etc. They can play up a level, but it hasn't gone well tonight.
It hasn't. And I think what's most important, I know everything Coach Doc Holliday came out and said is the simple things. But the most important thing for this football team, take chances on the offensive side. Michael Clark only has 1 ball thrown to him, and he's only caught 1. You got to get more mileage out of that type of relationship from the receiving quarterback.
Keon Davis on the return. And takes a seat at the 20. And that's where Marshall will start this third quarter. Chase Litton, as you talked about him, trying to get this passing game going. He was 10 of 13 in the first half.
10 of 13, but it's not enough. It's too many short to intermediate passes. When you have a guy like Michael Clark, 6'7", who can not only stretch the field, but Pitt plays a defensive system where it leaves their cornerbacks one-on-one. Give this guy an opportunity to go down the field and make plays. Throw a jump ball, because chances are he can get you a pass interference.
And that is the first play they dial up, but there was no room for him on the sideline as Maddox was on him like flypaper.
Avonte Maddox, we talked about him being an impact player at the beginning of the game. He understands he's short. As far as trying to keep up with a 6'7" guy, he uses the sideline as an extra defender to be able to get his job done. Nice.
2nd and 10. Anderson finds some running room and stretches toward the first down. Soto came back to get him.
Anthony Anderson, this was a nice little wrinkle they put in right before halftime at the end of the second quarter. He's the biggest back, 6'2", 250 pounds. This guy is going to get 2 yards if you don't even block anybody. That's how big he is. But I like the movement, what they're doing now. 3rd and short. We'll see what happens.
And the give to Anderson. First down and then some.
Anderson again.
First and 10, Marshall at the 34-yard line.
Now they have a first down. I really like the tempo. He's the bigger back out of the 4-back committee, what they like to run. If I'm Marshall, their offensive coordinator, I'm going to keep running the football with Anthony Anderson and also take advantage of Josh Knight, Michael Clark, Deontay McManus.
Just the 4th first down for Marshall tonight. Anderson, just that little hesitation got him some extra yardage.
Anderson carries.
This is a redshirt sophomore out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota.
Reggie Mitchell on the tackle, but give credit to their offensive line now. They're waking up. Levi Brown, Michael Selby, Clint Van Horn.
And I've got to believe, Takeo, there were some motivational moments in that Marshall locker room at halftime.
Verbiage versus moments.
Litton looking to throw. Deep ball down the sideline, incomplete. DeAndre McManus was the intended receiver, and once again, they were going after Avonte Maddox.
But this is okay, Bob. This is okay. Even though it's an incomplete pass, you still have an opportunity on 3rd down. 3rd and 3. It's a 3rd and makeable. And now you have the big back in the backfield, Anthony Anderson. So you have a plus situation to where you can throw out to one of your receivers or give it to Anderson up the middle, because the box is light with the formation that they have. Everybody's spread out.
Pressure coming. And the inside handoff nets Marshall to first down at the 45-yard line.
Taken out by 92, Rory Blair.
Anthony Anderson.
Good with Marshall.
Levi Brown, Michael Selby, these guys are doing a nice job up front.
First and 10 from the 45. Low snap handled. Litton gets that fastball to Josh Knight. And it's a gain of 3 yards to the 48.
Most people may look at this and say, you know what, it's only a 3-yard pass. Well, that's fine, because now you're setting yourself up for a 2nd and 7. It's just as good as a 3-yard run.
Terrence Webb defending. And a good grab out in front of his body by Josh Knight. 27-0 Pitt. 2nd down. And again, the long throw across is incomplete. Trying to hit tight end Ryan Urachek.
Ryan Urachek looks as if he had 2 guys on him. He ran a very nice route coming off the ball. But Webb did a nice job of closing in. He's the guy who will move around and play both sides of the field as far as the safety, and he has nice range, which allows him to be able to do that.
Another 3rd and long for Marshall. Sophomore Chase Litton. Forced to watch the Louisville game at home last week. Now penalty flag, and I believe the clock ran out on them.
Prior to the delay of game, timeout. Marshall.
Well,
It is their first.
They were able to get the timeout and save the penalty. We'll take the timeout with them. 12-11 to go in the 3rd. Pitt leads Marshall 27-0 with 12:11 to go in the third quarter. Marshall enjoying its longest drive of the night. They were 0 for 5 on third downs in the first half, 2 for 2 in this drive, and they are facing a 3rd and 7.
Third down, 7.
Keon Davis in the ball game as the running back with Chase Litton out of the gun. Davis breaks one tackle, but shy of that first down by about a yard. Maddox made the tackle.
They're still riding Keon Davis. He's another big back that they have, not as big as Anthony Anderson, but they're going to go for it on 4th down, Bob.
4th and 1. Seven for 7 this season on 4th downs. That leads the country. And first down and running room as Davis takes it over the 40 to the 37. The leading rusher for Marshall with 152 yards coming in.
The center, Levi Brown, does a great job on Tyreek Jarrett. Tyreek is the reason why this defense is so good, but when you get movement like that up front by the double teams.
Davis, a nice cut inside. Takes it down to the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Rebecca Capel.
Well, guys, Marshall coaches have a lot of praise for their freshman center. By nature of that position, Levi Brown really has a lot on his plate, both physically and mentally. But you know what, guys? This is a multi-sport athlete we're talking about, because back in high school, Levi was an accomplished tennis player. Offensive coordinator Bill Legg told me it's not too common you see a football player who also plays tennis, but he said, hey, it's helped his footwork and his hand-eye coordination, so there's that.
Now, I'm assuming he was a little lighter in high school to dance around that tennis court.
I'm willing to go as far as even calling him sweet feet, because you got to be lighter to be a tennis player to be able to get movement like that.
The pass to Juracek picks up 6. Davis trying to find an opening, or rather Anderson, and he is stopped at the 19. And an injured player for Pittsburgh. Stop the clock at 10:09. We'll take a timeout here with Pittsburgh leading Marshall 27-0. We'll be right back. Starting defensive end Rory Blair was the injured Pitt Panther on that play. You look toward the middle of the screen, looking for 92. And the way that arm came down, maybe that a little jam of the shoulder.
Yeah. Came down hard on the shoulder.
For Marshall, this is the 14th play. They had only 21 in the first half. James Folston Jr. has come in to take Blair's place at defensive end. Chase Litton at quarterback. 3rd and 3. Anderson. And Marshall with an impressive drive.
Didn't convert any 3rd downs in the first half. Now, they're playing the type of football. Now, you look in the middle of the offense, in the defensive line, Tyreek Jarrett, look at him. The center does a great job, but more importantly, Michael Selby, Clint Van Horn, both preseason All-Conference USA players, they're doing a nice job on their side of the offensive line of getting movement. That's the reason why they're having so much success coming out on this drive.
Anderson back in the backfield. Litton looks to throw, floats into the end zone, and that's going to be caught. And that is a touchdown for Marshall. Josh Knight.
Big time play by Chase Litton. This is the same play, same route combination that Pitt did right before halftime to Marshall's defense. Now it seems like Marshall's coming out, taking a page out of Pitt's offensive playbook, returning the favor.
Curry in to kick the PAT. He is 17 of 18 this season and nails this one. So Marshall is on the board and looking like a different ball club here in the third quarter.
Yeah, most definitely. They understood the one-on-one opportunities, and before coming into this game, they talked about when they look at their DBs, Pitt's DBs, they understood that they gave away certain things by alignments, and when you give away certain things by how you align as a defensive back, it shows a one-on-one opportunity up front. Now you see Tyreek Jarrett, he's frustrated.
That is the 11th touchdown pass for Chase Litton this season and the third TD catch for Josh Knight. 9:12 to go, third quarter, and a 27-7 Pittsburgh lead. So we are ready now for the Marshall kick. Amaretto Curry to kick it away. And it's going to be a little onside kick, and it's caught! And Marshall's got the ball at the 40-yard line.
Wow.
What a play!
You talk about taking chances. Doc Holliday understands that they have nothing to lose and everything to gain in this football game. They look like a different ball club. They leave one guy.
That's Josh Knight.
Josh Knight up top. This is great coaching. Great alignment, great coaching. And they caught him surprised. The kicker did a nice job.
It looked like a little pop-up to the second baseman.
He allowed Josh Knight to be able to run up under it. Nice kick, nice execution.
So Marshall gets it back in Pitt territory. 9:12 to go, third quarter. Litton waits and gets, rides and gives to Davis. And Keon over the 45 to the 43.
15 Mitchell on the tackle defense.
They're having success, and they're making the safeties be involved in the run game. Keon Davis finding a way to get through and forcing the secondary level to get him.
Takeo, what has changed? Marshall could not run the ball in the first half.
Well, it's just the attitude. They stuck with something. They went with Anthony Anderson, their bigger back.
Litton fires, complete. Progress to the 39-yard line as Emmanuel Byrd makes his first grab of the night.
And see, and this was has changed. They went with Anthony Anderson coming out at halftime, understanding, hey, let's take what they give us. A 3-yard pass is just as good as a 3-yard run.
And there is the difference by halves in terms of the rushing yardage. Third and 2. And to the outside. Davis. First down, Marshall. And they take it down to the 30. I'm telling you, folks, this looks like a different Marshall team.
They are taking advantage of the numbers now. It's cat and mouse. They're doing a great job of just extending their formation with receivers out. And when they see where they're light in the box as far as Pitt defensive team, they're running right to their side.
Marshall has converted 4 third downs and 5 tries this half. And for a ball club that was dominated in terms of time of possession in the first half, Marshall's had the ball practically the entire third quarter. Litton on the give. Bam Bradley came up to lower the boom on Keon Davis.
Bam Bradley, he's listed as a linebacker, a safety converted to linebacker. Very athletic. They love to use him in the nickel package, and they do a lot of different things with him.
Litton throws, hangs it out there for Bird. He makes the catch. Webb on the defense out to the 27-yard line.
Terrence Webb again. He's the guy who's going to cover all of the ground on both sides of the field as far as their safety.
Marshall ran 21 plays in the first half. This is their 21st play of the third quarter. 3rd and 7. Litton under pressure. Too tall and incomplete. Intended for Clark.
Juan Price is coming off the edge right here. He gets a nice jump off the ball, but it's almost impossible to block Juan Price with the tight end. If you're going to do that, you got to add a back to that side to be able to give him some help. He's that type of pass rusher to where he's dynamic.
And even a guy like Clark at 6'7", that is such a long throw from the far hash all the way to the sideline to try to lead your big, tall receiver under pressure and duress from Price. Timeout Marshall. 6:11 to go, third quarter. Pitt by 20. Next week on ACC All Access, James Bates will chat it up with middle linebacker from Syracuse, Zaire Franklin. Plus a preview of the big Florida State-Miami matchup next week on ACC All Access with Olivia Harlan. Check your local listings for airtimes on your regional sports network. It's a new day for Doc Holliday. Look at these numbers in the second half compared to what the misery was in the first half. And you like the tempo with which Marshall is playing.
I love the tempo. They're speeding up everything. It makes it harder for a defense to adjust when you have successful plays as an offense.
Going forward on 4th down. Litton throwing. And it is incomplete. Penalty flag. This is going to go against the Panthers. Josh Knight got sandwiched, and the flag is out.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Bam Bradley seemed to get there just a little prematurely.
Yeah, he did. He got there early. But that's a prime example of when DBs, if they don't play well and the ball is in the air in crunch time situations, you start to panic.
A 9-yard penalty. First down by penalty. Litton throws, and it is complete to Josh Knight.
Josh Knight is having a field day on a simple little out route. They're taking what the defense is giving them. Terrence Webb has been playing off for 10 yards for this entire drive, and they're going to continue to do that until Terrence Webb comes into the box.
Going back to the end of the first half, Marshall has run the last 24 plays in this game. Anderson. 5. Touchdown. An 11-yard TD run. Anthony Anderson's first touchdown run of the year. And just like that, Marshall cuts it back to a 2-touchdown game.
They found some success with Anthony Anderson at the end of the second quarter. He came in and found holes. But now what seems to change is they went back to him. And offensive linemen, a lot of people don't know this, but when you have a big back as an offensive lineman. You love big backs who can come in, and when you look at their offensive line, Levi Brown, Michael Selby, Clint Van Horn, they are cleaning out. Look at the double team right up front. Anthony Anderson sees the hole. He makes that one guy miss.
Brightwell walking off.
And it's kind of impressive to see a guy 250 pounds to be as nimble as he is, huh, Bob?
Yes, sir. Salim Brightwell for Pitt, shaking up on the play. He's walking off under his own power. Now, Amaretto Curry on to kick the PAT. 5:20 left in the third period. And the kick is good. What a turn of events at Heinz Field.
With the score, Pitt 27, Marshall 14.
Anthony Anderson taking it into the end zone for the Thundering Herd. And the redshirt sophomore from Minnesota provides us with our Honda Generators power play.
Look at the big fella run.
Came into the game with 76 yards rushing. Of course, arguably the biggest play of the drive was the fourth down pass interference call.
That kept the drive alive. And now we're looking at a Marshall team that looks as if they went into the locker room at halftime and probably had a teaspoon of gunpowder because they are coming out on fire.
And they kick it over the head of Henderson for the touchback as we go down to the field in Rebecca.
Guys, quite the turn of events here, and I just watched some assistant coaches going over to QB Nate Peterman, trying to fire him up, fire up that offense, clapping their hands and saying one play at a time, one play at a time. They are back out there right now.
And they get a chance to go on the field for the first time here in the quarter.
Now, if you're Marshall defensively, they know, let's stop the run. Let's give the ball back to our offense, because if we can get them back on the field, Pitt's defense is very tired right now.
This was the first time, that Pitt's touched the ball since 53 seconds left in the second quarter. And time of day seemed like about an hour ago. Long throw, and it is caught by Weah. Backpedaling and trying to fend off Allen. What a catch.
Justin Weah is having a great game today. A lot of big catches, and there seem to be going to him in the time of need.
42 yards.
42-yard pickup.
Rodney Allen has to do a better job of just turning around and not panicking, because he had time to turn around and see the ball.
First and 10 at the Marshall 33. Connor. Pick up to the 30. Jester Weah having a night. He caught 7 balls all season. Tonight, 5 for 123. Great concentration on that last catch.
The only thing he's missing right now is a touchdown to go with that.
Second down, call it 7.
Very important for Pitt to reestablish the run, keep the clock moving, so their defense can get some rest.
Henderson. And slips, and the Marshall bench explodes. Enjoy.
I don't blame them for exploding on that play, because that's the first time that they have been able to stop Quadre Henderson. We talked about him having this play, making that one guy miss, and you know what? He didn't make that one guy miss.
A loss sets up 3rd and 9.
Huge third down right here.
Peterman under pressure, and he is going to throw it away. Penalty flags go flying in the secondary. incredible rush there by Durant getting after
Prior to the
Peterman.
pass, holding, defense number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
And let's take a look at Chris Jackson as he just enveloped Henderson. Easy call.
Yeah, very easy call.
You're the 22.
Young Mr. Jackson piling up the fouls in this game. Henderson breaks a tackle, takes it to the 15. He is exciting to watch.
There's that jet sweep again.
Brought down by 91 Ryan D.
And it really puts a lot of confusion on the defense. We talked about it earlier. Half of the line is going one way, and his job is Quadre to make that one guy miss. He made the one guy miss. You're able to pick up 7 to 8 yards on first down. Always a plus. That puts them in a better situation on second down.
Pitt's second leading rusher, and he's a wide receiver. 2nd and 3. Connor to the 7. C.J. Revis was the man who tripped him up.
C.J. Revis saved these guys from a touchdown just then. Get him down however you can. But it seems to me Pitt offensive line they have their mind made up. And these guys are determined to rush the football.
Peterman handing it off. And that time, nothing doing for James Conner. Blake Keller, number 44, the defensive end. One of Marshall's hardest workers.
He's coming on the outside, and he has great technique. They teach their defensive ends, whenever you get a down block, you make sure you come down right behind him along the line of scrimmage. That allowed him to be able to have that tackle for a loss. He didn't pay attention to any motion, nothing by the quarterback. Nice job.
2nd and goal. And miscommunication on that one. Henderson appeared to be the intended receiver.
And that was a miscommunication on that play.
Incomplete pass stops the clock at 1:20.
If you're Marshall right here, 3rd down, big time down right here. These guys up front, they need to at least come out of here with the field goal to keep the momentum on their side.
Peterman will run it. And he's got the football down to the 2-yard line. 4th down. 10-yard pickup.
Even though they gave up 10 yards, it was important that they didn't give up a touchdown to keep somewhat of the momentum on their side. Pitt has done a nice job of moving the ball down the field, chewing up clock. And to come away with points on this drive after sitting for so long early in the 3rd quarter, I'm pretty sure they would receive a lot of praise from their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, and their head coach, Pat Narduzzi.
20-yard field goal by Chris Blewett. And this one is going to be good. Tucked it in the right upright. And Pat Narduzzi's Panthers have to settle for a field goal. It's still a 2-possession game. Well, Blewett's 3 of 6, as we mentioned. And he just tucked that baby in there.
That was close.
30 seconds left in the period, and a 30-14 lead for the Pitt Panthers. Momentum definitely changed. Started the 3rd quarter. Marshall got it going. They scored a touchdown to get on the board on that fade route. This one coming right there. Beautiful catch Then the onside kick that surprised the house, and a little pop-up caught on the run by Josh Knight, and that got Marshall back in business. Then the touchdown from Anthony Anderson. And the Thundering Herd cut it back to 27-14. Now Pitt comes down. They get the field goal from Blewett of 20 yards, and it's a 30-14 game.
Let's see, can they continue to keep the magic up? It's important when they get the ball here. Tempo is everything. Expect them to go no huddle.
Marshall on the return with Davis.
Davis from the 1, out around the 14. Brought down by the Panthers receiving team.
Anthony Anderson, 11 carries and 54 yards, and his insertion seemed to be a part of that momentum shift.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I talked about it earlier. Offensive linemen love big backs, especially when they come downhill. And when you have a back like Anthony Anderson who's able to get 3, 4, 5 yards to carry, it's infectious. And offensive linemen feel like, guys, we are wearing them down. I used to hear it all the time. That's exactly what happened the past drive when they had the ball.
Davis is in to start this series. And he is going to be hit from behind. Jarrett got him just as soon as he took the handoff.
Tyreek Jarrett has stood up and said enough is enough. As he's lined up over Levi Brown, the center, he just pretty much destroys this play. Unblocked. He was determined to make sure enough is enough. No more running the football.
That's the final play of the third quarter. Marshall making a game of it. Starting a drive as we begin the fourth quarter when we come back. Pitt 30, Marshall 14. ACC football is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the ACC. Haviland, Food Lion, and Toyota. Let's go places. This is a look at the Dinosaurs in Their Time exhibit at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, but I swear there's a couple of quarterbacks and running backs remains there courtesy of Taquillo Spikes.
You might be right on that.
Marshall has the football as we start the fourth quarter, 2nd and 7. Litton stands in. He's got a man wide open. Clark trying to take it to the house and does. 83 yards. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a football game.
We talked about it all night, Bob. Their offensive coordinator, Bill Legg, said, by the way that they align, we can tell when we have one-on-one opportunities. This is something that they did not even do or even look to attack from the first half. When they looked at it, they found it this time. It ended up in an 83-yard touchdown.
Marshall will go for 2. This to cut it to 8 and a 1-possession game. Keon Davis is the running back. Chase Litton wants to pass. Goes to the end zone. Intercepted. And the try fails. Let's go back and look at that long bomb for Marshall.
Chase Litton did a nice job. He understands that they're in some type of form of man coverage. They get him in a mixed match. And when you have that, and actually this is the first time that they brought this out of the grab bag when you look at Marshall's offense. So they came up with a creative way to try to predict some type of confusion in the backfield, and that allowed Michael Clark to become wide open. He's kind of hard to miss standing at 6'7" as a wide receiver. They're making plays. Tace Linton is stepping up to the plate. He understands if they're going to win this football game, he has to be an integral part of it.
83-yard touchdown pass. 10-point game, 30-20. And the return by Henderson. 20. Out to the 27. One more look at the Marshall touchdown.
When you look at the all-22, the safety Terrence Webb, he's been making plays the entire time up in the box, but when they give him the switch route, one false step allows Michael Clark to get behind the defense, and that's the reason why it turned up as an 83-yard touchdown. Nice play calling, attention to details.
Moss is the setback. Henderson the motion man. Good pickup of the blitz. Here's the throw to Henderson. And walks out right in front of the Marshall bench. We are so used to seeing Pitt dominate time of possession and with it yardage. But this half, Thundering Herd 204-63.
Definitely the tale of two halves. Marshall is coming out playing inspired football, and now it's putting Pitt back in the position that they've been in the past 2 weeks. Can they finish?
And the handoff to Moss. It's going to be 3rd and short.
Right down by 31 Cobb.
So a key 3rd down for the Thundering Herd. They had no success at all in the first half. And they have found a rhythm here in this second half. Pitt 3 of 7 on 3rd downs here in this half. Let's see what the Panthers come up with here. Peterman throws. It's going to be complete and a first down to Shantez Moss.
Shantez Moss is doing it all around. Not only is he an effective ball carrier in between the tackles, but he's coming out of the backfield, giving another option to Nathan Peterman. He understands the linebacker has the trail technique coming behind him. Just a simple catch, 3 yards there. It moves the chain and keeps the momentum going.
Devontre Tyler defending. 1st and 10 from the 41. Moss. Just an outstanding piece of running. Trying to weave his way. Gets out to midfield. In fact, they'll spot him down at the 49, and that's a first down.
That's a nice piece of running by the true freshman, Shantez Moss. But he didn't even get touched until he got to the 3rd level of defense by the safety.
10 carries, 91 yards. And off to get a breather as James Conner comes in. Tipton.
Number 5, Trey Tipton, out of bounds.
2nd down.
Kendall Gant did a nice job of being able to extend the play to the sideline to buy time for more guys coming in inside out with the pursuit of the defense.
Chris Jackson is a man that has played practically every defensive snap tonight. I don't know that he's come out of the game. True freshman. He is under a lot of pressure right now. Henderson in motion. And to give to Conner. And Marshall stops it. Sets up a 3rd and long.
Devontre Tyler. He has been around the ball all night, and as the game continues to goes on, he is starting to show up more. He's been. That's a hard tackle. Connor doing a little grimacing. Hopefully he's okay.
3rd and 9. Peterman throws, and it is caught by Henderson. And the knee down. He's got the first down. And the Pitt drive remains alive.
Rodney Allen is 3rd and 9. I don't know why he's aligning at 9 yards, but then he's bailing. That's the reason why it's giving Quadre so much room to be able to operate. No pressure. Nathan Peterman understands that.
And Peterman almost threw that thing in the ground.
Yeah, he was surprised he was wide open.
Over the middle and caught. Aaron Matthews to the 36. True freshman out of Clairton, Pennsylvania.
Now, that was a nice progression by Nathan Peterman. He really wanted to go to the flare route, but he took his time, didn't panic. Saw the true freshman coming across, Aaron Matthews. That was a nice grab. Aaron, he wasn't expecting the ball, but nice hand-eye coordination.
2nd down and 8. We took the clock under 10 minutes, a 10-point game. 30-20 Pitt. Moss.
26 Moss on the carry. He was tripped up behind.
A hit by safety man Kendall Gant.
Now Pitt is going back to what they do best. This is the reason why they average close to 250 yards rushing the game. They're forcing their safeties, Marshall safeties, to come into the box and to get down and dirty and to be able to make these tackles.
10th play of the drive coming. 3rd and 5.
Big down right here. Money down.
Incomplete. Looking for Jester Weah. And the freshman Chris Jackson on the coverage.
Chris Jackson is still playing a game that he doesn't care what has been called on him earlier. He is out there competing every play.
Blewett comes on to try a 51-yard field goal. He nailed a 50-yarder last week in Chapel Hill. Now they're going to fake it, and Marshall is ready for it.
Fake and a pass. Incomplete.
Cobb and Durant were there, and Marshall gets the ball back. Down by 10. The shovel pass to Aston, and Marshall says, we got that covered. Thundering Herd with the ball when we return. AC football is brought to you by Works. Leaves are falling. It's work season. The beautiful national championship trophy. Such a storied program, and I know that you really, your jaw dropped when you saw the history here. Let's take a look at that Marshall defensive effort.
Devon Durant, when you look at him in the middle of the screen, he just busts through. Nobody puts a block on him. And when you come through unblocked, it's easy to make those plays. Big bust by Pitt.
Now Marshall, and they're going to go deep ball again, and a penalty on Pittsburgh for pass interference. Josh Knight was trying to get away and couldn't. Webb had a handful of jersey, and a flag is out.
These guys are joining at each other. The receivers going back and forth to Terrence Webb. He's been covering ground.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
They hit him with a double move right here. Hit him with an out and up. He bit on the out. He turned it up. And as much as Pitt fans hate to see this, I don't blame him. That's a good play for holding the receiver, because if he didn't, that could have ended up as being a touchdown. Now, you can't tell Pat Narduzzi that. He doesn't want to hear that.
Mr. Clock Operator, please reset the game clock to 8 minutes, 34 seconds. Thank you.
Bob, are you friends with the clock operator, Mr. Clock Operator?
Very formal introduction.
He didn't give us a shout out.
Daniel Gautreau, our referee.
To 8 minutes, 56 seconds. Thank you.
They just keep putting more time on, much to the discretion of the Pitt Panthers. The clock started, the play started with the game clock at 9:03. And so the incomplete pass with the penalty makes it down to 8:56. Handoff to Anderson. And he'll move the ball down to the midfield stripe, a pickup of 2. And now Marshall looking at the clock, down in distance, 2nd and 8. You don't want to get behind the chains if you can help it. So if they can get a score, you just keep thinking, Takeo, when are they going to haul out the bomb one more time?
I know it. Josh Knight needs to be in there. He's getting his shoulder worked on the sideline.
Outside throw to Clark.
Complete to 7. Clark.
3rd and about 2.
38, Ryan Lewis, the tackle.
This is going to be the biggest 3rd down coming up for Marshall. Nice catch by Michael Clark. Best believe Chase Litton understands it's imperative that they get this 3rd down.
Litton will throw. It's complete. And it's going to be a lunging Bird to the 40. 1st down, Marshall.
They have ran this play for the past 3 3rd downs. A simple fake in the inside. Because Terrace Webb is given so much cushion, it's easy to convert the 1st down, so they will continue to do this. They're in the same formation set as they have been in the past 3 formations.
And what an effort by Emmanuel Bird to get that 1st down.
Determined.
From the 41. Litton throws, sideline, caught, but out of bounds. McManus made the grab, but he came down out of bounds.
That was nice coverage by Vontae Maddox. And the back shoulder fade is one of the hardest coverages to stop. They just couldn't connect.
He was trying to get 1 foot down inbounds. And momentum carried him out up to the boundary. Now, handoff. Anderson. Pitt stacks it up.
They did a nice job up front with the defensive line. Big number 6, Tyreek Jarrett. He's making sure nobody runs on his side of the football. Now, this is another big 3rd down. Defensive coordinator Josh Conklin talked about, we have to win deep when they throw it deep. And it's very important that their DBs understand the down and distance here coming up.
On 3rd and 10. It's going to be a handoff to Davis. He's got the 1st down to the 25-yard line. Everybody in the ballpark thinking pass, and it was Keon Davis.
Including me. Nice play call. They set him up over the past 3 downs running, but the left guard, Jordan Dowry, does a great job of just caving down the inside part of that line, and nobody was expecting run.
Davis reverses his field, gets a block, 20, down to the 17.
24, Davis.
All on that young man's shoulders on that carry.
Keep Keon Davis is a patient runner. He understands everything is clogged up on that side. He reverses field. And he's able to get close to getting another first down.
Keep an eye on that clock. We're down to 5:35. Marshall has one timeout left. Keon Davis to the 15. And it is, they're going to move the chains.
Now with the time approaching 5 minutes, it's very important for Pitt's defense to understand we can't give up a touchdown.
Here's the throw to the goal line. It is caught. Trying to break the plane, and Clark is in. Or is he? No, they're going to say he's down at the 1. 14-yard gain. And timeout by the officials. I think they're going to look at this.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down at the 1-yard line.
And what they'll look is when that knee went down, where was the football? This is a close call, and it may be a touchdown for Marshall. But you've got to credit the Thundering Herd with the effort that we're seeing, trying to get touchdowns, first downs, etc. Clark, knee down, but we can't see the ball. I think this will come back to the 1.
Yeah, from looking at it on the replay, it seems as if he's down right at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, that knee's down.
But you talk about determination.
Oh
Great
my
goodness. That's the reason why they love Chase Litton as their quarterback.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First and goal, Marshall.
That's the reason why they love Chase Litton as the quarterback. Their offensive coordinator talked about when he look at Chase and when he talks to him, he sees intensity. He sees passion, his desire to be great. And most importantly, he has one thing that they call the 3 C's. Competitive, competitive, and you want to guess what the last one is?
Competitive.
You win $1,000 tonight. That's the reason why they love him at the quarterback position.
First and goal for the Herd. Davis. Not this time.
24, Keon Davis. No gain.
Soto was the stopper.
Pitt playing very stout in the middle. Give a lot of credit to Shakir Soto because he didn't allow any movement up front. And as a linebacker, you like that because now you have an opportunity to play downhill and fill in the gaps that you see your big defensive linemen are not in.
Second and goal. 11th play of the drive for the Thundering Herd. Litton will throw. That ball was tipped, and it's incomplete. Tipped at the line, intended for Juracek.
Hey, Pitt understands we want to make them play on our demand schedule. So we're not going to sit back and let them do the little play fake, run a lead-off tackle. We're going to force the issue by bringing extra guys. And if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us by making a play.
Third and goal. We're down to 4:06. Davis, touchdown. Keon Davis pulls Marshall within 4.
We have a ball game. What's amazing to me is not only the patience of Keon Davis, but if you look at the block by Michael Selby just then, he cleared out the side.
Curry's PAT is good. 30-27. Keon Davis, give him 6. Back with the Marshall kickoff after this. Congratulations to John Ellen from Durham, North Carolina, our Week 1 Honda Generator tailgate winner. Enter now at foxsportssouth.com/Honda for your chance to win a Honda Generator to power your next tailgate. It's been a crazy second half. Pitt led at the half 27-0. Marshall scored with the first possession. A successful onside kick got them the ball back. They scored again, so 14 unanswered to make things very interesting. And then Marshall just scored again after Pittsburgh was unsuccessful on a fake and a field goal attempt. So now the Thundering Horde getting set to kick it off. Only 4 minutes to go in this game, Takeo. And Doc Holliday rolled the dice with an onside kick earlier. Might he do it again?
I don't think he'll do it again. He understands the pressure is all on Pitt because in the back of their mind, they know we haven't been able to finish the last 2 weeks, and now we're put in the same situation again.
A timeout with 4:01 left. Pitt ball when we return. Keon Davis, Anthony Anderson doing great work in the Marshall backfield, having great days as we look at our works carrying the load.
Anthony Anderson, he's doing a great job of coming in, and when you look at the committee of 4 by Marshall, they're doing a great job of dividing the carries up, making it hard for the defensive players of Pitt to understand who's getting the ball into Tennessee. But now looking at Pitt, it's important. They have to come back and run the ball effectively to run this clock out to finish.
And it is going to be Henderson over the 30 to the 31. Last week in Chapel Hill, it was Pittsburgh's inability to get a first down late that cost them a chance for victory against North Carolina.
Well, they won't have a problem being able to finish, unlike last week, if they continue to do this. To be able to get 4 to 6 yards on first down, Coach Narduzzi said it best. It's a game of inches, and we must find them. Right now, they have a bunch of inches in front of them, and they got to convert.
And also working against Marshall, they have but one timeout remaining. Peterman under pressure, and it's going to be caught at the 28-yard line by Moss. And it sets up a third down. They'd lose a couple of yards. Boy, big-time pressure coming up for Marshall.
That was big-time pressure.
C.J. Rivas.
He comes up and he has a nice play. Chase Hancock has done a good job of being around the ball at all times today, especially in the passing game.
Boy, if Marshall can get a stop here, they can use that timeout. Here's Peterman looking, throwing, and it is complete. A catch for the first down to Scott Orndorff.
You talk about a security blanket. Scott Orndorff, he just comes up and runs a simple move. He has the DB, makes the DB turn around. Eli Gates, which is a linebacker, bodies him out. Nice catch, moves the sticks, and more importantly, it keeps the chains moving.
1st and 10, Pitt.
1st and 10, Pitt at the 39-yard line. 2:08 in a running clock. Hand off to Aston. Wrestled to the ground at the 43. Durant, the first man there.
That was the same play they scored the touchdown on. You can tell now they're getting into their big set. I call it the 22 personnel. 2 backs, 2 tight ends. And they're basically trying to run the clock out, but also at the same time advance the ball to where they're getting first downs to make Marshall burn that last time out.
2nd and 6. Moss. And now Marshall will take that final timeout with 1:15 to play. Trailing 3. brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Honda Generators. And by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We have a plan that's right for you. 75 seconds, all that remain in Pittsburgh. Pitt with it, 3rd down. Marshall out of timeouts.
If I'm Marshall right now from a defensive unit, I'm expecting some type of maybe a quarterback draw, some type of easy handoff.
Yep, up top, and it's going to be caught by Weah, and he breaks free. Touchdown, Pitt. Ball game.
Wow. Justin Weah, 54 yards, touchdown strike. And you talking about not going the conservative route to win a football game. 3rd and 3, you're thinking they want to get the first down and run the timeout. But no, that wasn't enough for Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator. They ran a double move on the outside. And they were not only able to get the first down, but strike for a touchdown.
Chris Blewett adds the point after. And it's 37-27 Pittsburgh. And give Weah credit.
Justin Weah, he's been involved in this game. Chris Jackson is the corner. He's been playing physical the entire game. And they knew that. Bob, they knew that Chris Jackson has been playing a physical game. They caught him with the double move, and that gave Justin Weah a little time to get past him. And you got to give a lot of credit to people want to label him as the game manager, Nathan Peterman, but he understood. Justin Weah is 6'3", 210 pounds. When you have a 6'3" wide receiver, you can afford to throw it up and take your chances at a jump ball.
What a night. Coming into the game, he had 7 catches all season for 137 yards, 7 tonight for a whopping 176 and the game-clinching touchdown. Slap hands all around. 6 plays, 75 yards, and Pitt is going to end its 2-game losing streak. .104 remaining. And ready for the kickoff. Touchback.
The theme the entire week that has been going around Pitt's building, practice facility, is we need to finish. It's imperative that we need to finish on both sides. Offensively, yeah, they have been putting up points, but they felt like, you know what? If we don't score one more point than the opposing team, that means we're not finishing. And tonight, not only did they do that, but they did it in a crunch time situation. We talked about what was going to be the impact time of the game, making critical plays at critical time. And that last drive was a critical drive. And they made big-time plays.
Linton will throw down the sideline. And incomplete for Michael Clark. And Ryan Lewis was the man back defending for Pitt.
Nice job by Ryan Lewis. He didn't panic at all. He's a corner. May not get as much credit as I think he deserves. But he does a nice job of being able to play the receiver while the ball is in the air and not panic, even though he's giving up a height advantage.
Now Pitt is going to take a timeout. With 57 seconds remaining.
It is their first. It will be 30 seconds.
Justin Weah, redshirt junior from Madison, Wisconsin. And he has had a career night tonight against the Thundering Herd.
coming across the middle, catching slants. He has done it from every aspect of the game. He's not afraid to go over the middle. And when he's got enough real estate in the middle, then he decides to go on the outside, play the ball up in the air, jump off. And that's a hard thing to do as a receiver. A lot of times, most receivers, and some, for the most cases, most receivers can't high point the ball in the air with all hands. Some receivers are body catchers. Jester has done a good job tonight of not only high pointing the ball in the air, but having late hands. Late hands is when you're able to pull your hands up late to not let the DB know when the ball is coming.
Incomplete. 3rd and 10. Chase Litton will get 2 more cracks at it here.
Pitt has done a nice job tonight of Marshall has done a nice job of not allowing Pitt to take advantage of the pass rush lanes. Tempo has been fast, throwing short, intermediate passes.
And they sack Chase Litton. Juan Price, one more reminder for the men from Huntington, West Virginia.
The Tasmanian Devil strikes again. I know he's frustrated because they took him out of the game earlier by having short, quick little passes he used to spin move. And one of the guys he modeled his game after, who he thought that he looks like, is Elmish Dumerville, a guy who comes off of the rock fast, uses pass rush moves inside and out. He picked up another sack right there.
That's his 2nd of the night. Litton throwing, and this one is going to get picked off by Maddox. Takes it to the house.
Well, I guess the theme in the building of Pitt practice facility and around here in this city, you can't say we can't finish anymore. They did a nice job of finishing. Avonte Maddox basically just sitting back, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and this was a bad ball. Bad ball by Chase Litton. Avonte Maddox just sitting back, squatting.
Time expires on this play. They will not kick the extra point, and the ball game ends with a final score: Pitt 43 and Marshall 27. What a wild last minute 15.
I tell you what, Pitt's defensive players, and I'm talking about all the way across the board on every level, each guy should feel very proud of themselves because they came into this game, they wanted to finish. From the defensive backfield, everyone looked at them as the Achilles heel, but I thought these guys stepped up and made critical plays at critical times, especially in the end when you see Avonte Maddox sitting back, just reading the quarterback eyes, able to make a pick, take it in for a touchdown.
So the Pitt Panthers get set for Georgia Tech here next week as they move back into ACC play, and they'll get ready for the Jackets with a win as we go down to the field. And Rebecca.
Coach, your team was put in a similar situation the last 2 weeks, but tonight you guys actually managed to close this one out. How did you guys do it?
You know what? We did it with a great drive by our offense. Obviously, they finished it off. We've been talking about it for weeks of taking that 4-minute drive and going down the field. I'm proud of our offense. And then with a minute to go, our defense finds a way to finish it off too. So it's a good team win again. Don't like to be in that situation. At the half, you didn't think you were going to be in it, but give them a lot of credit for fighting back, and it was a great game.
Marshall didn't make it easy for you guys in the second. What changed?
You know what? They made some plays. I mean, they came out in the first half and got a 13 or 15 play drive going. Then they kick it onside and kind of got a little momentum going with that 14 points.
Talk about Jester Wea. Huge night for that kid.
He did have a great night. That's the kind of big plays we expect to get out of him. That was a huge play at the end, but he had a critical 3rd down and 4 slant catch with a guy all over him. He played a tremendous game. He's my player of the game. I know that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Pat Narduzzi, the head coach of the Pitt Panthers as his ball club improves to 3 wins and 2 defeats. And a tough night for Marshall as they made a gallant comeback. Your final thoughts on this Pitt victory?
This Pitt victory is exactly what they needed. Last 2 games they could not finish. It came down to the end, but tonight, not only did they found a way to win this football game, but they did it in a manner to where they knew with certain guys' confidence, their defensive backfield confidence was bad. But tonight, hopefully going forward after their performance, they will be able to draw back on this and understand that, hey, we're a good football team. We just have to make sure we take care of the little details in order to show the world that.
The coaching staff anxious to see how Pitt would respond after 2 very bitter defeats. Games that just got away from them in the final minute at Oklahoma State and at North Carolina. And they had full control in that first half. Made everybody a little nervous here late as Marshall cut it to 3, and then Pitt scores 2 late and win it 43-27. So back into ACC play for Pittsburgh next week. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets come to Pittsburgh. Our final score tonight: the Pitt Panthers 43, the Marshall Thundering Herd 27. Doubleheader next Saturday: Army Duke and Syracuse Wake Forest. Check your local news times. For our entire crew, for Rebecca, Takio, this is Bob Rathman. Thank you for joining us as we say good night from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Marshall falls to Pitt. Panthers win 43-27.